Well, good evening, all. I am going to try to do something tonight that I've always wanted to learn how to do, and I realize it's in an old game, so I don't know if this will be of interest to anybody or not. But if any can remember back to FarmerYip 15, they had these in-game missions, and of course, later versions of the game also had missions as well, but they were set up a little bit differently. So this is FarmerYip 15. This is the American map that they had in it that I have here. Um, so what I started taking a look on, I've got this other map. I think I've told people that I'm trying to mod a little bit, and I've used it. I guess it's a map that's close to my heart. It's called Glen Ellie because I've used it so much to learn how to mod a little bit, and this is just one more item in kind of a long string of them to work on the mission. So you know the job boards. So I figured out how to get a job board into, just go look at one. One of these boards that you can walk up to has all this stuff on it, and you can see if there's a mission where you can earn a little bit of money or whatever. And there's transport missions, there are mowing missions, and I think you could haul product demand type mission, maybe if you had something in your silo or whatever. Well, the ones I'm trying to set up right now, or that I wanted to try, was a mowing mission, and initially I thought all you had to do was insert this board, and it would somehow look at your map and it would figure out, well, here's an open area, we could have someone mow this or whatever. Well, that was pretty naive, and I installed this board, I put a replica in the map that I'm working on, and of course it did not work because there was no other setup. Well, then I discovered there was this other little um, grouping, if you will, that has the various, the scenograph of this map that has all the setup for it. And so I went to look at it, and so here's like the first mowing mission. I'll just hit F to be taken there and kind of zoom up a little bit. Oops, wrong one. I need to get on the corner, sorry. Now I'm on the surface. So here's kind of the corner, if you will, of this particular lot on the map. And so that's like the leftmost corner. Then this goes to the lower left corner, and I'm guessing this goes to the lower right. Sure enough, that's what it does. And so those 3 points show the bounds of the area, that need to be mowed. So when this mission is called up, there's going to be something that indicates here's a square, here's something going on, and you need to mow it, and you'll get a certain amount of money for it. And I don't know how they figure out the money. It's probably calculated based on how big of an area it is and what they feel you should earn for doing it or what have you. So this is kind of the setup. And I notice here it's called Mowing Mission 01. There's 3 of them. And I noticed right here in this area, the scenograph that holds all these, it has a couple markers in here. There's an on create, which means that it's going to call up a script. This is one of the giant scripts. I don't think they share the details of this script, but this must be the one that governs mowing missions. And I'm guessing if you put 3 of them in a row, it knows that there is 3 separate missions. It knows in the script it's going to define, how it picks out all these details to know where to go, where to put the hotspots and whatnot that we see in game. So that's the script. But another little tidbit that we need to know is this right here, the XML file name. And so I went to look this up. I hadn't ever looked at it before. And just to see what was in it. And it's pretty plain Jane. I'll just pull up the text editor here. This is Mowing Missions America for this particular map. And you can see it's at that location, data in-game missions, mowing missions XML. And lo and behold, it has 3 mowing missions in here. They're numbered 01, 02, 03, and I presume that I don't know if there's anything to do with the 01, 02, 03, It could be that something in the script looks for the number. I don't know for sure, but since we can't look at the script, I can't tell. But what this is doing, like so much of modding, what's helpful is if you can at least set things up similar to how the Giants set it up, then odds are maybe, it'll work for us, in whatever app we're modding. And I gotta say, as I was trying to figure this out, I hadn't even noticed this whole section here, which was kind of dumb. I hadn't looked, closely enough. But I was going to YouTube, I was going to general web searches, trying to figure out how to mod missions for FarmSim 15 maps. And I couldn't really find anything. So I thought I would make this video so there's at least something out there if anybody ever, wants to look this up or what have you. So this looks like this is kind of how to set it up. Yeah, this defines the area, this defines the mission, this calls the script, this tells us where to look for what appears to be directions, if you will. There's a description, there's a title. So I'm thinking if we want to set up our own missions, we need to have our own XML file and we need to call it from our own map. We need to give it our own names, and I think it probably needs to be different names, I would assume, than what's used here because you see this little L10N, and I don't know how they came up with L10N. All I know is that the L10N is used to describe all sorts of things. If the map that I'm working on right now, like I said, is Glen Ellie, so let's go to the mod description, mod desk. Under the L10, and there's all kinds of things installed here. It's going to be text. The original map author used this area to put some of the briefing text in. So this is what you see when you open the map. And you see that kind of on the title screen. Well, this is where you define what goes in there. So you'll see all these details in here. So that's kind of what the L10N is for. When you have something that's kind of a marker, a variable, if you will, and you want to define further in the game or how it appears in the game, you do that here. And you can also give it different tags based on, language, EN for English, DE for German, and there's a whole bunch of other tags. The map author here only did it for two, English and German. I know when I've released some mods, I've tried to do it for all the tags that the game supports. There's like 15 of them maybe, including Japanese, Chinese, Russian, and so forth, all the major languages. So what I did is at the bottom of all this, which has a whole bunch of other stuff, I put something in here on mission info, and I wasn't 100% sure, and I got our own mowing missions over here, so I've already set one up for '04. You'll notice that the one that comes with the game starts with an '01, 2, 3. I'm just going to start at '04, '05, and I'm just going to show how to set up one of them here and see if this works. But I'm going to call it '04 because if I call it '01, it may overwrite whatever this is, which probably doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know that it does or doesn't, but what I don't want to have happen is call it '01 and then have this one overwrite, what I have in mind. So maybe that won't happen. I don't know. Maybe it won't even end up there if it never calls up the in-game one. I just never know what gets called up because I can't see the scripts that run this. So this is ours over here, and using the same parlance they did over here, we called it in-game mission description, Mowing America '01. So here we called it in-game mission description, Mowing '04. So if we come over here, we have Mowing '04 for the description and the title. So might take a little bit of tinkering, but let's go to the map that I have this on. This is a Glen Ellie map, or part of it here. I'm on the far I guess this would be the western side. And right now I don't have any trees in the map, or not all of them, that is. So some of them don't appear on here, and some of them are in this area, but I think this would be an area to mow. Unfortunately, it isn't quite square shaped, but it is a place that the player probably isn't going to go very often. The main farm is clear over here. There is a field over here. I don't know how many people would ever choose to farm it because it's kind of a pain in the neck to get to. You got this old mountain range in here. There's one little place over here you can go across, and the only other place is down here to kind of get in there. So the player's general rule, this is a free area, it isn't a field, so the player's general rule probably isn't going to come here just to pick up grass, although as we zoom in, it's loaded with grass that they could get for whatever purpose. So in order to induce traveling to this part of the map, maybe to check it out or mow it or do whatever, I figured we could maybe set up one of these mowing missions to mow this field. Now down here I've installed a factory to the map. This is, well, let me see if I can figure out what it's called. Yeah, lumber mill. I don't know what it's called. For molasses factory. Let me see if it has a name somewhere that I can tag it to, unless I just call it molasses plant. Yeah, I don't know if I've identified it by name somewhere. Maybe there's something in here. This is all the stuff that's on Marhu's factory script. Yeah, it requires sorghum to come in here. All I'm looking for is a name, and maybe what I'll do is just call it the molasses plant. Just kind of, it's so I could pretend, if you will, in game that the molasses plant owns this section up here. I don't know, for future expansion, who knows. So maybe, as we go back to the XML here, what can we call our mission title? We'll just call molasses plant grass field. Yeah, maybe something like that. Description. Oh, I don't know. And this is, under the English tags. Maybe I'll just say management of the molasses plant is disgusted with, with the state of its grass field, which is very tall and has weeds. They are looking for a willing party to come and mow the place down. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe some of you watching this could come up with something far more creative. So this is in the mod description. It's in the L10 area. So I'm hoping the game will kindly load this up. And yeah, that it'll load it up and that it'll keep these descriptions. And we'll be able to tell, presumably, hopefully when we get in there. So that's what we'll do in here. We have it defined here, mowing 04, mowing 04. We have it defined. Okay, now let's go back to the area where we have our missions identified. This is mowing missions. So I think I previously have affixed, yeah, on create. But I changed the location of the XML. This would be in the root directory of the map, and I think I moved it to its own directory. I put it in the missions folder. There's our file, mowing missions. That's the one we had open, so I need to put missions and a hash in there. And I think that'll take care of that. That's going to look for all mowing missions. Now I need to, this is something I just copied in and put there. I need to put this down. Let me get rid of that. So based on how I see it defined, kind of in the other map, this is going to be interesting. I think the way this works is this is defining a parallelogram. And as long as you do it in the order, kind of that we saw over here, where this was upper left, lower right, I think you'll find the parallelogram kind of as a square with those bounds, versus if you did it a different way, say it's putting corner 2 up here and corner 3 down here, or even down over here. It probably just takes some experimentation. I think the main thing is it's defining a parallelogram, and we're going to primarily want a square, but this is kind of an oblong field. So we're left with the choice of, maybe, I don't know, we could do a long skinny section in here, or we could just try it and, see what happens by putting the first corner up here and then trying to capture kind of the area. So I think that's what I'm going to try. I will put, let me see here. I'll put the corner, let me grab it. I go left control B, and that lets me put it, I can put it here basically. There it is. And now let me grab the corner, which is probably here. Oh, it's going up there. Interesting. Well, I don't know if I should be facing the other direction with this, or, well, let me just try it. I know I'm facing south kind of with this, so, but maybe it won't matter. And this is it isn't gonna be square, but if I put it in this corner, it's gonna kind of be on an angle here, so it's gonna make, and then I put the other one here, it's gonna make an interesting shape, I think. But we'll see. We will see. I don't remember in game if it identifies all these areas or just how it does that. But I will put this in left control B. Maybe I'll put it kind of somewhat in here, put it there. And corner 3, I'll put kind of over here. All right, have the corners placed, and so I think that defines our parallelogram. Unfortunately, it's going to grab, if you draw a straight line from up here where we had it down to this corner, it's going to grab some area in here. But what I'm hoping is that it'll do is, well, wait a minute here. This is narrow and skinny. I almost wonder if it's going to pick up a skinny area in here. How to get it up there? I changed my mind. Let me try this a little bit differently. I'm going to face north, and I'm going to put my first corner up here. I hope I don't regret this. I'm just going to I'll put a little away from the tree line. Left control B, put it there. Corner 2. If I want to get the big area here, corner 2 is going to be down kind of here, if you will. There's going to be some trees that show up in here, so it isn't going to be able to totally. So left control B to place that. And then the third corner is going to come over here. So maybe, I don't know, right about out here, control B. So now as we look at that, it has the original corner up here, and it's going to expect, yeah, see, this may be too much. Because it's going to expect us maybe to mow some of this and some of this over here. I'm going to have to give this some more thought. And the problem is when you come down and look at this, I mean, this is unmowable. This isn't a slope you would take your tractor on to mow, but it probably fits in some of the line. Some of this in here is going to be hard to get to. It's really bumpy, hilly, and I'm not sure you can even get a tractor in there without getting stuck. But by setting the bounds that way, we may have just created a problem for ourselves. But what I don't know is how much, what percentage of this area do you have to cut before it tells you you have, succeeded at the mission. That's the part that I don't know. So it may, maybe if you get 80% of it, it calls it good. Maybe not. I just don't know, and would have to try this to know for sure. So I'm gonna I'm gonna hit save on this, and we'll at least save this part in the map, kind of for our first mowing mission. We've defined the points in here. We've put the point in our XML here. I hope it notices the 4, and that it will call it up, once we're in game and, we see what it's doing. There's a lot of stuff in this map, so it takes a little while to save it. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, I took most of the trees out, just to help. If you have so many items in here, especially if you put trees in there, you just bog down, and makes it slower running. It takes longer. Like when you click on something, see how long it took to identify that? Trust me, it take way longer with all those trees in there. So I exported them to an i3D file, then I deleted them from the map. So when I'm ready to kind of finish work on the map, I'm going to re-import all those trees, which will take a while. Then I'm going to save the map again with all of them in it, and then I'll have something to work on in game, with all the trees. But for the moment, I didn't want to have them in here. So why don't we hop in game real quick, and let's go test this out. Load her up and see if we can get our mowing mission to show up. Whether it actually works or not is going to be another question. And by work, oh, I can't even hear it right at the moment. I must not have the sound very high. When I say by work, I mean that if I take a tractor over there and I attempt to mow the area, that it actually, I can win the mission by doing it. If I get over there and I mow that field off and it still doesn't show me as having completed the mission, well, then that'll mean I have failed, and I need to redefine some of those parameters, probably by moving those points, in the map, where I was putting those and showing kind of what the bounds of the parallelogram is, for mowing. So I'll have to just be patient here as it loads. Like I say, there is a whole lot of stuff in this map, so lots of things for it to load up. Maybe I'll just glance at, oh, it isn't even wanting to load that. Hopefully I'm not pumping some error out here. Nope, it was just loading. Okay, so here we start up in the map. Like I say, I am not hearing any sound. I wonder if that somehow got... Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to come over here to the job board, which I kind of put out front here. I know it's just a sign. This is the map here. I want to see if it's loading up. No missions available. I think I have it set to show up every 2 minutes, so we may have to wait a couple minutes here. But in the meanwhile, what I can do is go find my tractor. Oh, would you look at that? I never even saved it. I am not sure why I'm not hearing a booming thing. Yeah, that should be, I don't know why my volume is off. That's kind of strange. Hopefully it means I'm recording something at least. But I think what I need to do is purchase some mowers. So I'm going to get this. I'll get this. I'll get myself hooked up to them. Let me just head in inside here real quick. I know some people do it all in cab. I don't know how they do that. There we go. Now I'll get the back part. I'll get all set up to go mow. There we go. And I'm just going to come across the field. You'll notice there is all sorts of obstacles in this field. I got a couple massive rocks. I won't talk about all those today, but I have just had so much fun with this map, and once I'm done with it, it's going to be quite a chore for somebody to play it. I think I'll play it. Oops, that's right, I changed the traffic from... I should probably change that back. This was intended to be a Scottish map. I probably should have left it as driving on the left side of the road. But like I say, I was learning with this map, and one of the things, I was trying to learn with it was how to use traffic splines and kind of all of those kinds of things. And so one of the things I did was make the cars go on the right side of the road, which is what I'm used to here. And so I figured out how to do that. I've just never bothered to change it back. So I'm going to get up here. I'm going to head on the road to head over to this section of the map where this mission takes place. I was kind of heading cross country. The original map author had this area down here coming through here, but I made all this area to the right, and I made this very steep road, which is crazy steep, but it's where we're going to go to get through the mountains, if you will, to get over to this field. And hopefully by the time we get over there, we're going to, when we go back to the beginning, if you will, where we put our job board, then hopefully we'll be able to see whether we have a job to come mow this section over here. And like I say, I still don't have the trees in here, but we'll get them in here eventually. I'm just going to cut that off here. And then I'm going to have to do some testing on this, and I'll spare everybody that. I'll do that all off camera, if you will. And then hopefully it works. And even if it doesn't work, I think all it means is I just need to fix kind of the parameters, if you will. Actually, let me save this while I'm here, so I don't have to drive out here again if I got to do it over. So I'm going to leave him sit. I'm going to go back to the beginning over here, and let's go check our job board. Every 2 minutes something should show up. Oh, I see another fix I need to do. Yeah, there's a slight mist, and that just doesn't look right on the surrounding hills with that blue of the sky. But anyways, I digress. Well, look at that. Molasses plant, grass field. I think that's what we typed in. Management is disgusted. Awesome. Okay, so I think what the app means is we have it, and it's telling us here, drive a tractor to the with a mower to the blinking green marker shown on your map. Mow the grass until it succeeds. You only need to mow the grass and leave the hay if you do not need it. Okay, so there it is. We're clear over here on the farm, and I'm sorry, you look at this map and it probably looks like a kid with zits. Those are all rocks. I have a hot spot on each of them, and bits and pieces of logs and what have you. So yeah, that's over where we set it up, thereabouts. So I think we're all good. So I'll maybe come over here. Let me tab over to my mower. Do I still have it on? I sure do. So I think I'll leave everybody here, and I'll close the video out and call this a success, because all I wanted to do was make sure it would see my mission, when we open the map back up or in game, and it appears it does. Now I just need to make sure that you can actually pass the mission, because this is kind of an oblong field. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this was a little bit informative, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.